Hey, it's Soup here, and welcome to my Heroic Skolex fight guide. This video is not going to cover anything class specific, but will cover the fight mechanics and how we dealt with them. I will be making boss guides for both Mythic and Heroic, as well as many more mage specific class guides, so if you'd like to be notified when I release those, make sure to subscribe. Alright, awesome. Let's get going. The main mechanic to be aware of in this fight is Ephemera Dust. This is a dot that gets applied by Dust Flail and Dust Blast. Dust Flail is a raid-wide AoE that applies a single stack of Ephemera Dust. Dust Blast targets the 3 furthest players from the boss during the tank combo with 3 casts that apply 1 stack of Ephemeral Dust each. This cast also splashes within 10 yards, so it's important to have the 3 people baiting this cast spread out away from the raid. The important aspect of this mechanic is that the Ephemeral Dust stack get cleared by the boss when he casts Ravening Burrow. The boss mechanic Insatiable gives him a 5% damage buff for the rest of the fight for each stack that he clears, so it's important not to get any extra stacks from Dust Blast. It's also important to get knocked up away from the tanks to avoid getting cleaved by tank mechanics. The way we dealt with this mechanic was to have the raids stack on an assigned marker after a Retch cast to proc the Ravening Burrow. The next mechanic is Devouring Blood and is a pool to dodge in melee. The boss also casts a very large frontal called Retch, just move out of it. The tank swap mechanics for this fight are Rend and Rift Maw. Rend is a frontal cone that applies a bleed, and Rift Maw is the tank swap debuff. The boss will cast Rift Maw twice and Rend once each combo, so the tanks just need to make sure they don't take 2 Rift Maw hits. The other important tank mechanic is Wormhole Jaws, which requires both tanks be within 10 yards of each other at all times. The healing requirement on this fight depends largely on how well your raid avoids extra stacks of Ephemera Dust and dodges swirlies and frontals. This fight is a tank and spank for the most part, especially for ranged. So the raid wants to stand behind the boss and away from the tanks at all times to avoid getting cleaved, dodge blue swirlies on the ground in melee, stay at least 10 yards away from the assigned range that are soaking Dust Blast to avoid extra Ephemeral Dust stacks, and stack with the raid to bait Burrow and clear Ephemeral Dust. You can find my kill video in the upper right. Let me know in the comments if you found this video helpful, and as always, never stop improving. Peace!